Crows genius birds. Did you know that crows make their own tools, lead complex social lives, and never forget a human face? Scientists are just beginning to unlock the secrets of the crow's brain to discover how these avian Einsteins can be as smart as some primates and even perform some of the cognitive feats as human children. Crows have problem-solving skills that will make you rethink what it means to be a bird brain. Elvis, Me, and the Lemonade Stand Summer. Truly, 11, lives at the East Shores Trailer Park on Vancouver Island. She looks forward to a summer of loneliness and boredom. Her mother, Clarice, is rarely home, and Trudy has no friends. Since her mother disappears for days at a time with new boyfriends, Truly must rely on the owner of the trailer park, Andy, for friendship and support. Andy helps Truly set up a lemonade stand to get her started on a summer activity, which might even earn her some money. Truly is thrilled when a man who looks just like Elvis stops to buy a drink from her lemonade stand. He decides to rent a trailer and stay for the summer. Truly now believes she has met Elvis Presley. Later that week, she visits the farm and finds a new litter of puppies. She instantly falls in love with one of them and dreams of adopting it. How will she find the money to feed it? And will Clarice even let her keep it? Clarice has a hard time making ends meet with her job at the bar and her part-time sewing business. She spends her money partying with boyfriends who never last long. Truly has a grandmother, Mrs. Bateman, in town who hates her and her mother. She has no idea who her father is until one day a friend of her mother says that she has seen him in Vancouver. Truly starts dreaming of taking a trip to Vancouver to find her father. How to become an accidental activist. Just get started. Be unstoppable. Dream big. How to become an accidental activist profiles 100 activists from around the world, including changemakers like Greta, Pete, and Lily. This book shows us how ordinary people from many different backgrounds have persevered throughout history to do extraordinary things to help themselves and others. This book will inspire you to get started, keep on keeping on, and encourage others to get involved. It seemed like a good idea. Canadian Feats, Facts, and Flubs. Where else but Canada could you find a town that turns its main street into a giant tubing run? Or witness a Mission Impossible style heist where a thief drops down through a ceiling and makes off with over $120,000 worth of hockey sticks, not to mention the slippery, or was that sticky, bandits who stole 20,000 liters of maple syrup. In an engaging, hilarious, and always fascinating exploration of geography, history, wildlife, science, culture, food, art, and giant roadside attractions, this is Canada at its most jaw-dropping, unusual, and innovative. Maurice and His Dictionary. Based on author Carrie Faig's own family history, this graphic novel follows a young Jewish boy, Maurice, and his family's harrowing journey as they flee their home in Belgium during the Second World War. They travel by train to Paris, through Spain to Portugal, and finally cross the ocean to Jamaica, where they settle in an internment camp. All the while, Maurice is intent on continuing his education and growing up to be a lawyer. He overcomes obstacles to find a professor to study with, works towards a high school diploma while in the camp, and is ultimately accepted to a university in Canada. His English dictionary becomes a beloved tool and beacon of hope through danger and turmoil of the family's migration. Me and Banksy. Dominica's private school is covered in cameras and someone is hacking into them and posting embarrassing moments for the whole school to see, like Anna picking her nose. When Dominica quickly changes her shirt from inside out in what she thinks is the privacy of a quiet corner in the library, she is shocked and embarrassed to discover a video has captured this and is currently circulating amongst her schoolmates. So mortifying, especially since over the past 3 years they've had a half a dozen school talks about social media safety. Who has access to the school security cameras and why are they doing this? Meet Willie OReilly. On January 18th, 1958, Willie OReilly made history as the first black player in the NHL when he suited up with the Boston Bruins against the Montreal Canadiens. OReilly went on to play a total of 45 games with the Bruins, a remarkable achievement considering what he overcame to get there. In addition to dealing with racism and bigotry, Willie lived a secret disability. He was blind in one eye, a fact he kept to himself or he'd never play in the NHL. Thanks to his relentless positivity and love of the game, Willie's time with the Bruins was only one of his many achievements in hockey. Meet Willie OReilly is a celebration of his life from childhood to his playing career to his later work as an ambassador for the NHL diversity, as well as an eventual induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2018. Music for Tigers. Unlike the rest of her nature-obsessed family, Louisa wants to be a musician, not a biologist. But when Louisa's mother finds out that the Australian government is about to destroy the Tasmanian forest camp their family has managed for decades, she insists that Louisa leave Toronto and spend the summer on the strange small island with her even stranger Uncle Ruff. But when Uncle Ruff gives Louisa a copy of her great-grandmother's journal, Louisa becomes fascinated with her family's history of secretly protecting endangered species, including the mysterious Tasmanian tiger, widely regarded as extinct. With the help of her new friend and neighbor Colin, a boy who has autism spectrum disorder, Louisa deepens her connection with her family's land, with history, and the love of music. Powwow, a celebration through song and dance. Powwow is a celebration of Indigenous song and dance. Journey through the history of powwow culture in North America, from its origins to thriving powwow culture of today. This lifelong competitive powwow dancer, author Karen, is a guide to the protocols, regalia, songs, dances, and even food you can find at powwows from coast to coast, as well as the important role they play in Indigenous culture and reconciliation. Proud to play, Canadian LGBTQ plus athletes who made history. Many athletes stay closeted for their entire sports career, often unable to compete at their highest ability because of the shame and self-doubt they feel in not being true to their orientation or identity. While organizations like You Can Play, the Canadian Olympic Committee, and Egal Canada have made progress in recent years in promoting inclusivity at grassroots and elite sporting events, there's still much work to be done to ensure all athletes feel safe being their authentic selves. There are many athletes showcased in here, including swimmer Mark Tewksbury and professional hockey player Brock McGillis. Sarah and the Search for Normal. How can Sarah even try to make friends when she knows in her heart that she's really what her jeering classmates call her? Sarah, who was diagnosed at 6 with bipolar and anxiety disorders, mild schizophrenia, and depression, lives a mostly solitary life. Though she attends a public school, she's not mainstreamed. The school believes Sarah's too intellectually gifted to be in a regular special education classroom, so she's been learning solo. Racked with self-loathing, she's obsessed with being normal. When her therapist encourages her to join a therapy group for teens with mental illness, Sarah makes her first friend ever. Screech, Ghost Stories from Old Newfoundland. There's no dark like Newfoundland dark. These ominous words beckon young readers onward in this spooky collection of ghost stories. Reimagined from family stories told across Newfoundland and passed down over generation, these 10 spine-tingling tales traverse centuries and introduce readers to the rocks, nooks, and crannies. From a ghostly blueberry picker on the Barrens to a visit from the notorious old hag from a mysterious ballet troupe in a St. John's mansion to a haunted house in Outport community on the cusp of resettlement. These stories bring the island of Newfoundland to vibrant new life and death as the thread of these years-old yarns is unraveled for a new generation. Shirley and Jamala save their summer. When Jamala meets fellow 10-year-old Shirley at a garage sale, she's hopeful she's made her first neighborhood friend. Shirley's mother is sending her to camp for the summer against her will. When Jamala confesses that she's in the same situation, Shirley, who's a bit of an oddball, says that she'll convince her mother to convince Jamala's mother to let them skip camp and spend time together. Jamala is skeptical, but Shirley comes through, and before long the two girls are spending their days together on the nearby basketball court. But instead of practicing like Jamala, Shirley makes it her home base for doing detective work. When Jamala joins Shirley, the two begin to forge a true friendship, one that their latest case puts to the test. This is a fast-paced graphic novel set in Canada and features a diverse cast of characters. The Barrage Grounds. The edginess 13-year-old Morgan feels runs deep. As an Indigenous kid whose life has been lived in one white foster home after another, she feels little reason to get excited about anything. 2 months in to her new foster home placement, she inherits a new foster brother, Eli, a young Cree boy who spends his time quietly drawing in his sketchbooks. After a blow-up with their earnestly well-intentioned white foster parents, Morgan and Eli shelter themselves in the attic, where a drawing in his pad seems to come to life, creating a portal to a wintry, barren grounds where the passage of time is Narnia-like. After Eli disappears into this world, Morgan is determined to go after him to bring him back. The Fabulous Zed Watson. The novel starts in a library where tween Zed does all his interneting since his parents have enforced a no screens until you're 16 rule. The librarian positively reacts to Zed's chosen name and they/them pronouns. The scene is set for a story that centers in a non-binary character while not being about traumatic gender identity experiences. No one is more confident in who they are than Zed. I'm a flamboyant and well-regarded drama queen, they say. Queen is a combo of queen and king. For us, they dies and gentlethems. The Jigsaw Puzzle King. Being yourself isn't always easy. When you're new in school, all you want to do is fit in. When 11-year-old Warren and his family move to a new city, his twin brother, who has Down syndrome, attracts too much attention for Warren's liking. Bernie's different and doesn't care about it. But while Bernie may be oblivious to those who are curious or uneasy with him, Warren notices every smirk, comment, and sideways glance. Warren is weary of flip-flopping between trying to be just like everyone else and being the protective brother of a boy with special needs. Sometimes he thinks his life would be easier if he had no brother. But what he really needs is to stop worrying about what other people think. The King of Jam Sandwiches. Robbie, 13, is the king of jam sandwiches. With a mentally ill father at home, Robbie knows how to take care of himself. When his father is not waking him up at all hours of the night or disappearing for days at a time, Robbie spends his time preparing meals, doing laundry, and going to school, not to mention his part-time job. Robbie knows he deserves much better, but he feels he can't do anything to change his situation. That is, until he meets Harmony. Harmony is the fast-talking, tough-as-nails new kid in school, and it's up to Robbie to show her the ropes. Not surprisingly, their first encounter ends up horribly, with Robbie getting punched in the face. But despite their differences, Robbie and Harmony have a lot in common, including each having a dysfunctional parent. And once they realize this, they become inseparable. But then one day, Robbie's father disappears again, and Harmony's mother runs away from rehab. On a mission to find her mother, Harmony displays the courage that Robbie also craves, and Harmony's example kickstarts Robbie's own quest to seek a better life. Treaty words. On the banks of the river that had been Mishomis' home his whole life, he teaches his granddaughter to listen, to hear both the sounds and the silences, and so learn her place in creation. Most importantly, he teaches her about treaties, the bonds of reciprocity and renewal that endure for as long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the rivers flow. Treaty Words affirms the importance of understanding an Indigenous perspective on treaties. We Dream, Medicine Dreams. This is a moving and insightful picture book honoring the enduring relationship between a child and her grandfather. In the poised first-person narration, a young girl speaks directly to her elder, sharing memories and reflecting upon traditional Dene knowledge. You said, there is medicine in our dreams. This medicine teaches us to be skillful in the world and teaches us to face the challenges in our lives. Ocean Speaks. How Marie Tharp revealed the ocean's biggest secret. From a young age, Marie loved watching the world. She loved solving problems and pushing the limits of what girls and women are expected to be and do. In the mid-20th century, women were not welcome in sciences, but Marie was tenacious. She got a job at a laboratory in New York, but then faced another barrier. Women were not allowed on the research ships. They were considered bad luck on boats. So instead, Marie stayed back and dove deep into the data her colleagues recorded. She mapped point after point and slowly revealed a deep rift valley in the ocean floor. At first, the scientific community refused to believe her, but Marie's evidence was irrefutable. The mid-ocean ridge that she discovered is the single largest geographic feature on the planet. Marie became the first person to map the Earth's underwater mountain ridge, and she mapped it all from her small, cramped office.